run over you, especially when they have a hero like Natus Prophet.
All right, well, we'll see what Navi's response is going to be in game number 2 as our draft is underway.
There we go.
The Furion.
So I think
Quick
this is
Navi.
yeah, this is a must ban. I don't think they should worry that much about the Tidehunter. I don't even like. It's like a close third, I'd say, almost fourth in the current meta in terms of what strong offlane heroes there are. And I think Nature's Prophet and Beastmaster are by far the two best ones. So not surprising that they opt to go for the Nature's Prophet ban rather than the Tidehunter this time around. Secret immediately coming with the Wisp ban again, knowing that it's basically Navi's best card.
I'm interested to see if Secrets find it need. Okay, yeah, they'll actually take out General's Batrider because the Earth Spirit's obviously still in the pool.
It's an identical ban to last time around. There's no need to change it up because it was successful. So
yep.
It's sort of like what Poppy's always done. If it's successful, why change it?
And again, that's really what I want to see Navi be able to pull out is something like the Batrider from that off-lane position, or even from the mid and safe lane position, where you're able to pull out that kind of 20-minute aggression instead of having more of these heroes that are statically farming at that point in time.
Again, it traces back to whether or not the hero pool is deep enough. Right. I haven't seen General play much else than the Batrider and the Faceless Void. Granted, we haven't seen the Navi play as many games as a lot of these other teams because they are basically all major teams except Navi.
First pick Enchantress is an interesting one, though. I mean, I feel like this is a hero that, yeah, maybe just because of art style, but Enchantress first pick does not feel particularly strong to me.
Maybe a few months ago. In the present meta, I completely agree with you. But there is something to be said for sticking to your guns and playing within your comfort zone. We heard Swindlemelons speak about this earlier on the panel as well, how when they played up against EG, for instance, at Shanghai, he said they didn't actually pick something they were too comfortable playing. We saw the same thing with eHome, where they had CGY play a Darkseer that he really didn't seem comfortable. It was like he was playing an entirely different game, right? He was playing League of Legends, everyone was playing Dota 2. And this is probably one of the reasons Navi drafts the way they do. They need something they have practiced, something they're comfortable playing.
And that is why we have Jacob on the desk. A sound bit of analysis that truly only him could pull out.
Traces back to League of Legends.
Windranger at your service.
I don't even play the game. Doombringer, Windranger from Secret.
You want comfort right now.
Yeah, exactly. So the Windranger is just, I mean, they could have gone for Invoker by all means, but I like to see the Windranger as well. Yeah. Add some diversity to their picks as well. Probably a smart choice to pick it up right now instead of having it banned out in the second phase the way we saw.
I mean, let's not also forget these may be comfort picks for Team Secret, but those are also two comfort picks that address Enchantress wonderfully. You have Doom being able to disable that Untouchable. You have Windranger who doesn't care about Untouchable.
Yeah. I just love seeing Weehab being put on a hero which he can really excel at and you can showcase his abilities on. And Windranger is exactly that. That's kind of like why I kind of shed a tear when you see Dendy playing OD or Viper. Well, I agree with you, like his OD really held him in the game before. It doesn't let him dictate the pace of the game. He has to rely on his teammates a little bit too much.
Again, I hate to bring it up too often, but this again traces back to something we talked to both Complexity and MVP about. The lack of practice against top teams. When they suddenly started playing against these top teams at various tournaments, be it Star Ladder, the majors and so forth, they started recognizing how they needed to draft, how they needed to develop the draft throughout tournaments, throughout time, and always be on the forefront of drafting. It seems to me that Navi doesn't have that same experience going up against the top teams right now. So they are sort of lagging behind in the understanding of the meta, and they still pick stuff that only worked a month or two ago.
Yeah.
You see this Enchantress, the Faceless Void, great picks by all means a few months ago, but nowadays these are just not first pick material.
They take away the Pylite Die Lion as well as the Misery Tidehunter. Tidehunter usually a pretty appropriate response to Faceless Void. I feel like I like both of these bans, but
yeah, so the trade-off from picking the Windranger is obviously that you're gonna lose the Lion pick. Definitely some good bans coming out from Navi.
You would be taking both your supports in the first one too. We've heard the way that I believe Swindle was talking about trying to go from support core back and forth.
Yeah, and the thing is, I still think Misery plays a decent Beastmaster, so if they even want that, but I don't think they're too worried about Navi banning out offlane heroes, unless they committed full out to it, and they didn't already from the Enigma ban. As a Darkseer as well, something that's been very popular throughout the tournament already.
What other primary calls are really left here for Team Secret? Like, is it worthwhile Team Secret even going into the jungle with, well, any of their heroes? We saw...
They have the
you got a Doombringer, right? So
10 seconds.
what's your lane support then?
What happened to OD, though? I mean, Team Secret just banned away the Death Prophet and the Gyrocopter. Do you actually value those two heroes, or rather, do you fear those two heroes more in conjunction with a Faceless Void rather than an OD?
It's the response to the Faceless Void,
yeah.
pure and simple. These
but
two heroes,
OD works just as well with Faceless Void.
It works well. It doesn't have the same kind of range, bar the ultimate obviously, but it's gonna get the ultimate off regardless. For Gyrocopter and Death Prophet, it synergizes even better with the Chronosphere than OD, and OD just comes in a close third, right, like many other ranged heroes. So I think this is what was probably what they didn't expect, an Invoker pickup. Because there's another hero that, you know, by all means synergizes well with Chronosphere, assuming you don't deafening blast them out of it.
Going to rely on him being Exort in this game too. Like, is it worthwhile him going Quas Wex, or does he have to go into the Quas Exort in this game?
I think it's definitely an Exort game.
Reserve time.
I wouldn't mind seeing a Quas Wex though. It's always interesting, and it sort of opens up the map very early on. Instead of having the traditional farming playstyle where you get the Midas, you just rush that early Orchids and you get the Ghost Walk and you chase around for targets.
But
they don't really have
targets on the field.
Yeah, they don't really have the lineup to back it up so far. And there's the Beastmaster for Misery.
Turn to pick.
Yeah, they got such great control, such great laning. And Team Secret doesn't even matter like where they want to go. Like Doombringer starts rotations or does whatever the hell he wants to do. Both Custom Maiden and Doombringer are fantastic against Enchantress, and the Lycan will be the pickup from Na'Vi.
So, assuming this is an Exort Invoker, you actually have a sort of a concealed push strat coming out from them, where there is, well, Power Shot and Axes are decent against push, but first of all, Axes aren't going to be leveled until very late.
You definitely need a very strong laning phase supports for Na'Vi at this point in time. You can't afford to let this Beastmaster get out of control. That's going to be, I think, right next to the Wind Ranger is your kind of tempo controllers that prevent Na'Vi from being able to reach that push state.
If you ward off the creep camp on his side of things, and he's pretty easy to keep out of the lane then. Like, we already have the Enchantress in the jungle, assuming that he's just staying in his own forest. And then whatever support they pick, as long as it's ranged, they should be able to deal with the Beastmaster, especially if it has any sort of slowdown or disable, which most of them have these days.
The new Lycan Wolves are particularly harassive against some of these offlaners. It might be an appropriate response to the boar harassment.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways they can go with this. A hero that's fallen out of favor is the Witch Doctor. I don't think it's particularly good against anything that Secret has. I would probably rather prefer having something with even longer and more reliable disable. Especially up against a hero like the Wind Ranger.
Team Secret, meanwhile, we still need a carry. What is left, though?
There's everything that Envy likes to play. There's Slark, Spectra, Ember Spirit.
Ember was, yeah, I don't think kind of the one that came to mind.
Well, he might bait out a few Chronospheres, which might be cute. Add a lot of momentum.
It's a hero that doesn't particularly, again, care about Enchantress is untouchable, decent against push stance, but instead it's going to be the Slark, Slippery Fish. And instantly,
casual 10th pick Earth Spirit.
All right, I'm not sure how that came out. Real quickly, guys, your predictions?
Secret.
It's got to be Secret. Even without the draft, it's got to be Secret.
All right, Secret is all the way on board. Of course, if you guys want to be able to check out stats, news, anything you possibly need, of course, the Score Esports has it all. Be sure to check out the app on the Google Play Store as well as the iOS Store. Find it all over there. Get into our game number 2 now between Na'Vi and Team Secret, Durka and Blitz.
Thanks, guys. I cannot wait for this. Game number 2, Na'Vi against Team Secret, and look at what hero Dendy has. The pianist himself on his signature invoker, Blitz. What are you expecting between these two teams?
It's been a really long time since I've seen a Dendy invoker, in all honesty. And I remember the first time I ever played against Dendy mid, it was his invoker, and I thought it was the scariest thing in the world. You can ask EGM about the story. I did terribly. I was super nervous about it, and for good reason. When it comes to Invoker, this guy really understands the hero. He knows how he wants to play it. but people have caught up, and most importantly, you know, I don't know how much he's going to be able to do in a lineup that just features a Doom or a Beastmaster, where either one of those abilities are almost always going to be focused on him.
Well, then speaking of signature heroes, of course, like the panel was saying, Wind Ranger for Wii, this is pretty much one of the heroes that allowed him to make a name for himself. You know, back on Balkan Bears, Wind Ranger, Lina, heroes like that allow him to set the tempo, but mainly it's just about dominating the lane, out-harassing your opponent, and outlast hitting. Make sure that you have that one-up over whoever you're facing against mid. So, let's have a look. Seneko Earth Spirit, again, Melk pointed out, 10th pick, Earth Spirit, something that maybe we didn't really expect, you know, allowed himself all the way through the pool.
30 seconds.
Why, how did that come about?
I mean, it is super late into the pool, but I think it just kind of fit Navi's lineup. Well, Earth Spirit kind of fits every single lineup. And I just think that Navi just kind of says to themselves, okay, Seneko, can you play it? He's probably like, yeah, I own with it. Everybody owns with Earth Spirit. Kind of just works out.
Ownage hero, ownage players, and the horn will sound. Art style again over on the Enchantress, off lane, General Faceless Void. No big changes there, but it's going to be a Ditya Lycan heading up the safe lane while Eternal Envy Slark. We love this slippery little devil. Very, very good performance over at the Shanghai Major. Not just hero itself, but also Eternal Envy on the hero. While Pilot Eye Crystal Maiden stepping away from the line, of course banned out during the second phase, but Puppy Doom, Weeha on the Wind Ranger, and Misery. Double boars already blocking up the creep wave, getting that range creep up ahead, but you know, always watch out for the support on the safe lane. Very aggressively poised forwards, just ready to reset equilibrium.
And part of what made the Slark so successful is that it was a hero that could just be everywhere on the map at once, and that's the style that Eternal Envy wants to play. He kind of wants to play that speedster around the map where he can be anywhere, get on top of your supports really easily, and have that comeback potential. That's really important as the Earth Spirit.
The roll into pull.
Goes with the roll.
Oh, is that? Yeah, there's the range attack. Seneko pulls it off. That was a sly little move, actually. Gets himself quickly over into that pull camp. While Puppy, what are you up to? Satyr, he's got the blast, but Dendi, this is not the easiest of lanes. He'll get his Forge Spirit out. This is where things start to even out a little bit more. You know, you get the basically 1.5 heroes to get your last hits in for you.
Yeah, but the Wind Ranger can do okay. She can just, as soon as she gets the high ground advantage, which is what Wee's focusing on, even more than last game at this point, it comes down to the deny game just so you can get the high ground advantage, and then Puppy's help can actually mean something, but Puppy's trying to get Wee the advantage mid. Unfortunately for him, not able to do too much, and he might even get the D-ward though, at the very least.
Misery's offlane Beastmaster. Looks like he's heading into the Iron Talon. Second minute rune's going to spawn up shortly, and Weeha now has to last it under the tower. Dendi, he's pushed this lane a little bit further forward with the Forge Spirit, but this Observer Ward scouts it all out. Puppy, he pings exactly on the spot, takes it down, and like you said, exactly, precise movements from Puppy moving across the map. Level 2 Doom already on the D-Ward mission.
Yeah, and he's going to pick up the Bounty Rune too, kind of make this affordable for him. Unfortunately for him, he just doesn't want to use the Shockwave if he can help it, just because it costs him half his mana just to deal 160 damage. Definitely not worth it for him. Gets a lot more utility out of the Devour, and it's still a good creep to grab though, just because of the 6 HP regen. And he's going to spot Art Style's rotation over here. They've got a lot of different ways to deal with the creeps from the Enchantress as well, picking both the CM and the Doom.
Something Secret have to keep in mind though is that Lycan on the safe lane with the low roll forward, not going to connect onto Wee. And Dendi will just throw out a couple of projectiles into the Wind Ranger's face. Seneko though, turned around on by the Wind Ranger. Not going to get anything done. But yeah, the howl from Lycan from the safe lane is definitely something you cannot underestimate, especially when you've got basically 2 roaming heroes between Earth Spirit and Enchantress. They are very dynamic and active early on, and with that howl damage, they can really pile that pressure on early on.
Yeah, Puppy immediately goes for the Devour onto the Forge Spirit, trying to make sure that Wee gets a decent lane out of this. And Nako's doing the same thing, and not a lot of kill potential on either side of this lane unless something incredible happens, but
I think they saw our style smoke up. I'm not 100% sure, but they do have a Dire Observer Ward over towards the jungle where the smoke was used. Highlight Eye. Level 3. 2 in the aura.
just help out the rest of your teammates more than anything. Makes it really easy for the Beastmaster to contest because he can spam out the axes a lot more, which we've seen. Puppy's gonna spot this rotation immediately.
Art Style, you're cheeky, but not cheeky enough. Puppy, he's got your number. He's played with you enough times that he knows exactly what you're up to. He's in your head. He's one, if not 2 steps ahead of you. Twilight Die. A little Dark Troll gets ensnared and trapped up by the Frostbite, and Puppy, no Devour, so he can't actually snag that one up, but they will kill it off. And General, he does need some help up here. He's level 4, and he's getting his experience in. But up against Eternal Envy, this Slark is pretty much just free farming at top.
Yeah, but at the same time, he's getting harassed out quite a bit now, and General is at a pretty equal amount of regen. And this is kind of where you want to strike as the offlaner against the Slark, just because he doesn't have his level 6, he's only got that one Tango to work with, and General can pretty much play in his face if he wants.
Art Style is being bullied so heavily by just Twilight Die. Puppy, no come across when the Wild Wing throws out the Tornado, but Art Style not really accomplishing anything up on this top lane. While, you know, you look at the deficit that this has kind of created with Earth Spirit sitting mid, the Enchantress trying to help out top lane. Actually, they're going onto Puppy, and maybe he's overextended. The Doom slowed out. Maybe a bash from General. It's all they need. They don't even have to get the first blood of the Puppy, and Art Style will heal up and damage down Eternal Envy. He's got a pounce and should be fine to escape. General, though, he's hungry for more. Crystal Maiden.
I am quite surprised that Puppy went for that creep, just because he didn't have the Scorched Earth available. Like, that was just 3 armor hero that was getting knocked down. It wasn't even 3 armor, he didn't even have the Tranquil Boots. It was just like a 0 armor hero that had 200 HP and the basic regen from the creep that he ate, but not nearly enough to contest that. And that was just such an easy mop-up kill for Na'Vi.
Did create a little bit of a gap, though, a little bit of a hole in Na'Vi's laning stage, because Misery, getting closer to level 6, was completely dominating Ditira, dropping him very low with the double boars, and now forcing him back out of lane as Puppy.
Oh, he's gonna spot him too. I think he's gonna go for this one. If Ditira decides to move back down, and he's going to his Puppy.
Scorched Earth blast.
He's got the hit.
There we go. Slows him up, burns through him with the Satyr blast. He's waiting, biding his time, just looking for the perfect angle. But the stone, the kick from Sneko, a TP back to the tier 2. And Ditira the Wolves, will he get the perfect block? Puppy, the juke! Ditira through the trees, and they're going to continue chasing through that Lycan. How is he doing this? It's not going to be enough, though. Maybe to get the counter kill onto Puppy, but Ditira, you're just going to continue going through the trees. Power shot from Wei. Finally secures the kill, and that's a heart-in-mouth moment for Secret, just being run ragged around.
Yeah, meanwhile at top as well, they lose the Faceless Void, and Art Style goes for the dive. Eternal Envy barely makes it out, doesn't commit the creep for it, and Eternal Envy has no mana or HP to speak of, but is going to be able to get the kill and get out. And that's got to be a heartbreaker so far for Na'Vi. They lose 2 heroes across the map. The Lycan works so hard for that. Unable to survive though, and Puppy picks up a decent amount of XP.
And Dendi was close to securing the kill on Slark with a Sunstrike, but barely missed the mark on that one. Now, he's got his phase boots up soon. Dendi, what are you looking for? The Hand of Midas, so 1,000 gold in the bank with the Gloves of Haste already picked up. Deny out the Invis rune. He's not going to use it, just doesn't want to go and refill his bottle. So he'll destroy any chances they had of using that one. But take a look at who's up at top. Art Style needs a new creep, waits for the camp to respawn, and with that Centaur Conqueror, does he try and kill off the Slark? Because it's not the easiest of takedowns.
Yeah, it's really not.
Oh, especially when he jumps on the General. He's gonna keep going with the Essence Shift, stacking up General. 5 seconds till the jump again. Eternal Envy just kind of wants to force him out of lane, though. Because of course he can dip back into the shadows and heal himself up. Well, oh, hello. Puppy and Misery pair up to kill off the Lycan.
Yeah, they commit the Doom, or the Roar for it, but more worth it is they're going to get a lot of control in this bottom tower area, and because the Lycan is rotated, he's going to have to go to the jungle eventually, and Diyarad tries to make the attempt mid, but pretty low percentage gain.
And Sneko is millimeters away from landing the roll, but like you said, Art Style and Dendi, even if they were in the vicinity, it's still difficult to reposition and move yourselves up that ramp when there's Pilot Eyes Crystal Maiden ready and waiting for the save onto Wii.
Yeah, and surprisingly enough, Diyarad immediately comes back down here, but nobody TP's down or anything to help him out, as Na'Vi power does get denied, but Secret, they're just gonna move out.
They're looking for Dendi in mid though. Paladine, that's the shackle back under the trees and the focus fire. Weeha, damage output's good, but not good enough just yet with Sneko.
Oh,
hang on, Dendi came back around, salves up, but cancelled out. And
He's gonna get power shotted, and just immediately starts running back to base. He hit the Midas. I probably would have just gone to the camp, but because the courier's in use by General, he's going to be unable to do so. And Basis Void is still really strong against the Slark. The time dilation does destroy him, but don't really have the best ways to kill him early on. They don't have a lot of things that can permeate through that. The exception of the Enchantress, of course, but
And this
she's not really in position to help out.
art style, that's so mean. Somebody call the RSPCA, these boars, they're in trouble. Art style doesn't want to let them live. Doesn't even want to steal them, just wants to destroy. Kill them off. So, Eternal Envy.
They have a good chunk of XP. They're level 5. It's a good move.
That's true.
I'm surprised that Misery's not denying him more.
What kind of itemization do we expect from Eternal Envy here? Blink, Shadow Blade?
I know he almost exclusively prefers Shadow Blades in games like this, and I think against a Lycan it's a little bit iffy, but I still think it's pretty good. It just depends on if you think you can play... I guess the Earth Spirit's really poor. I think you can get away with it.
No greedy Midas, just go straight into the mobility? Oh, Misery. They know the smoke has popped and Wolves, they'll scout it out, but Ditira already into that. Nice little shapeshift, Wolf form is up. And Secret, a little bit off on the timing there, but great play by Ditira. Again, utilizing this tree line, utilizing the Fog of War to keep himself hidden. While the rest of Na'Vi actually want to try and look for a battle here. The Hawk gives vision again. It's just rotation after rotation coming to nothing.
Yeah, Na'Vi, they keep rotating down at Art Style, who's pretty important because if they're ever going to have any hopes at pressuring Envy, he's got to be the hero up there to pair with General. But with everybody coming down here, Eternal Envy feels so safe in this top lane. Even with Seneko up there, not a whole lot of kill pressure on him, and he's got a lot of stats plus the wands. It'd be hard for him to die in a lane like this, and this just kind of furthers the space on the map for Secret as they split things up.
They'd love to have the Doom over on Puppey, but not quite level 6 just yet. Aurora and Necro 1 is done for Misery though. Look at how much gold he's managed to get. 4,000 net worth almost. Pretty much even with the mid Invoker and even surpassing the Lycan.
You're kind of okay though, just because the Enchantress can always steal one of the minions. But the timing of it is incredibly strong just for ganking and pushing down towers for free.
Oh, Seneko TP's out. Good move. Back to safety. Well aware of the damage that Eternal Envy can pile on into him in a short period of time. That Max Dark Pact, he's pretty good at shoving waves and taking down these little stacks as well he's created for himself. You know, Eternal Envy is probably one of the best at self-sustaining lanes and getting the most, just eking every little inch you can from a lane. Whether it's just stacking a camp after shoving out a little bit more, getting every single last hit. And you can see that, 4,700 net worth. 11.5 minutes in. The kill score doesn't tell you the whole story. Pylite die, the Roar comes back, the Crystal Maiden's still alive, and General, doomed roared, killed off.
Under attack.
All he wanted was the Maiden of Ice.
Yeah, that was a good setup attempt by them, and that should have been just a free kill and out, but Pylite Die barely gets his way out of that one, and the Sunstrike combo is quite strong, but I still think you need at least one more hero there just to secure things, and most importantly, if you're wasting your chrono and you can't even kill the CM with all those things helping you out,
It's tragic.
yeah, because how are you even going to begin to think about killing Envy?
Yeah, the Slark, the Beastmaster, the Doom, they're all building up these stats items, tanking them up. And Artstyle, you are far forward here. Eternal Envy, I think he's got his beady little eye on you.
Oh, Seneko in mid. He's going to go down. Weehaw might just burn to this, though, when he does. As Dendy starts to make his way over.
Yeah, they found
Wants to go for
Pylite Die.
Pylite Die.
Cold Snap is there up at top. Artstyle still battling out, but Pylite Die looks like he's okay for now. With the Faceless Void coming up to top lane, Slark will get chased out by Artstyle's Enchantress. General, no chrono for 50 seconds. Not gonna be a kill over there.
Puppey's going to start making his way up there, too. Doesn't have the Doom available, but feels like he can at least help out a little bit. He creeps around that area, just kind of let his presence be known. You don't commit too much just by being up there. You just kind of force somebody out of the jungle, which is exactly what General does. And if you're Na'Vi, you've got to eventually play around this Lycan, start to take some objectives with them. It's a really big shame that they weren't able to take down that tier 1 at bottom. That's pretty big to Na'Vi's strategy, just being able to pressure down that safe lane and getting control around that area, because it means you can more easily go for the Roshan, more easily pressure the tier 2, or at least kind of threaten something important whenever Secret decides to go for something.
Looks like Secret are content to just kind of stack up these early game items. You're looking at Maelstrom being built up by Wii. There's the drums on Eternal Envy, just tanking themselves up and padding out their stats as much as they can. You know, again, the Buckle of Doom for Puppey. Don't really need to say too much about that, but Na'Vi, they do have key heroes that require key items. You know, the Lycan's looking towards the Necro 2, the Necro 3. Earth Spirit doesn't really need too much, but Enchantress would love to have Dragonlance and Ags. And this Invoker, you know, you've got your Treads and Midas. We're going to see the Fata style Rod of Atos, so we're going to look towards, you know, a Blink Dagger now.
I don't think Atos is worth it in a game like this. They don't have the best team fight setup as
Chrono,
Envy.
Envy, Sunstrike should be good. We'll finish him off. And a Shackle Shot, even from Weeha, to try and block out as much of that damage as they possibly can. Pilot diving, chased out by the Big Bad Wolf, but the Frostbite holds Digirai in place, and Puppey turns the battle through. Pilot die, chased into the trees, but Art Style, Shackle doesn't latch. Weeha, oh, you gotta try and deal with this guy. Digirai chases him back behind the tier 2, but the Windrun is there, back on the other side of the fight though. Misery, he's roared up one. Puppey with the Wild Wing Tornado stands his ground, gets bashed through, but Na'Vi have cleared up 3.
That was a really weird time for Puppey to be like, I'm gonna make my stand here.
I'm gonna do a little dance.
It is time to channel a Wild Wing Tornado, but
He wanted to get down tonight.
yeah, that was really sick play by General, being able to hit in from the fog onto the Slark. Oftentimes what we saw happen during the Shanghai Major was that Envy was almost always able to get the Shadow Dance off, so he negated a lot of that damage, but with the Sunstrike damage, I mean, it's a significant amount right now. It's 400 pure. Envy can't really survive against that as long as there's like 2 heroes there, and that time he was around 400 HP. Perfect amount for him to get the free kill on that. And General's starting to pick up some farm. The Lycan finally has his book number 1, and we saw how quickly he was able to rip up the CM. They can get some control on the southern side of the map and start to take some objectives. And we'll really start to see Na'Vi challenge for things. And they've got ways to do it too. They've got the summons from the Invoker, you've got the Forge Spirits, you've got the Enchantress who can just grab a creeper herself. If the Beastmaster decides to summon his Necro books, you can always steal one of those at the same time.
Necro 3 for Misery.
That is an absurd timing, by the way.
16.
That's actually so fast for him to get it.
Minutes. Well, you know, he skipped over the Iron Talon. He didn't go for that one. Up at top, Art Style. Again, a little bit too far up with the Shackle Shot. They'll secure this one simple enough. And look for that tier 1 as well. But Paladin Misery, they've got other plans. They love the Forge Spirit, but I think they wanted Seneko. Earth Spirit wanders himself away. And the rest of these towers, you know, you're looking at tier 1s across the board, barely, you know, bottom tier 1 is not even scratched. The mid, a little bit of chip damage there. But with a Lycan on your team and an Enchantress, double Forge available, I think Na'Vi really want to set their eyes on one of these objectives and maybe try and commit for it.
Yeah, I think what you do is you try to send somebody to go up top, as Wee's gonna get gone on as he does have to...
Dendy does the Meteor, but he blinks forward aggressively. Weeha, he's burning down to his Magnetize, gonna run himself through the trees, but there's no juke in from Dendy. He'll block off the retreat and the kick will secure. It's actually towards mid.
Alright, that is quite bad for Na'Vi, as they did get a really good pickoff, but it led to their Lycan dying at the same time. And I guess the gold change is worth it for them, but you really don't want to lose a hero 1-for-1, especially when you make a move like that.
Digiroi was deep behind tier 1, and he was looking for kills, looking for the aggressive play.
Yeah, and Na'Vi, they're going to go for this tier 1 at top. They know that the Earth Spirit is going to go grab mana, he doesn't have the ultimate available, and the Invoker's still atop. With the Lycan dead, this is going to be a free Roshan for Team Secret. As that's fairly significant because Na'Vi wanted control of this area.
Even with vision of this, there was really no way in. They'll TP across the tier 1, but Roshan, oh, if General can get himself a little bit closer, he's not going to go for it. Roshan will go the way of Team Secret, but what can they do with it? Because Weeha is being forced back by Art Style. Impetus damage is good. Chrono down onto Weeha alone. The Sunstrike is not enough to kill him off, but with a good bash from General. 2 quick kills.
I think you immediately go for the mid tower now too, if you're Na'Vi. You want to be able to grab, again, some objectives to open up the map for your team. The mid tower is the best one that you can go for. Get control of your jungle again. And it looks like that's exactly what they're going to go for, as Dendy has also made his way up top.
Eternal Envy. Dendy was being a little bit naughty up there. Going for that tier 1, Eternal Envy. quick on his toes with a deny as well. So Ditchira, this Lycan, you know, we're looking at that Necro 3 timing coming sort of 21, 22 minutes, something along those lines. Is that when, Eternal Envy gets the Shadow Dance off, TP's away, there's a kick. Wait, hang on, what? The did get cancelled, but he's gonna, Eternal Envy, Dark packed it up, he's healing himself up! The Pounce is in 8, but they've got vision up on the high ground with a sentry, barely!
That was the most clutch sentry of Artsal's life. He's like, I'm gonna get this half-second vision. This is a free kill. No missing there is really well done by Seneko.
For a second, I thought the TP didn't cancel. The Slark kind of just stood there during the stun duration of the kick, but Seneko, through his spells, all of them stuck.
Radiant's middle tower
I think you do wait for the Necro 3 onto the Lycan, and Dendi probably picks up the Aghanim Scepter. Then you can make a lot of moves on the side of Na'Vi. You can get quite aggressive even without the Aegis at that point. Just because Secret, they don't have... I guess they have some wave clear in the power shot, but even then, it's not fantastic. You got the Wild Axes, but it's only level 1, super unreliable. The Crystal Nova is pretty short range, and you don't want to be close against a Blink Dagger Invoker. So I think that's gonna kind of signal Na'Vi to get aggressive around the map. First, they have to push out the lanes, though. They never want to be in a position where they're just trading at this point.
And does Secret meet that aggression with more aggression? You know, do we look for the blink on Wii, or does he just sit back a little bit, go for the Aghanim Scepter, and bide your time until you've got one item up on your opponents?
I think he needs the Ags. Not even for anything more than just the stats, because he does die really quickly with 1000 HP. I think the type of player that we is, there's a good chance he might just go straight for the Blink Dagger so that he can make plays for his team, but I think it's a more reliable option to go for the Ags at this point. He already has some ways to get on top of the fights. Envy is his frontliner, same with the Doom and the Beastmaster. So I think for him it's more about survivability, and then he can put out more damage overall as well.
Style is having a very different game than he had in the previous one. He's close to his Aghanim Scepter. You know, we're looking at the Beastmaster timing on Necro 3, and that was pretty spectacular, but there's 4-roll Enchantress running around with Dragonlance. Aghanims is 750 off, and Artstyle is going to be an absolute monster with his DPS output as long as General can land these Chronos, and with a blink, you definitely can. One key thing, though, is looking out for this Na'Vi vision. One up on the high ground looking into the dire jungle, one looking for entrance into their own. But it might be time for, you know, a little excursion across to enemy ancients, maybe get one up on a spire towards the bot towers.
This is a slightly odd timing just because Navi's going to get close to things, but they're going to run into Puppy before he gets the Doom off.
Scorched Earth not going to save you through the damage of that.
And before they get the Necro 3, which they were pretty much at, and Artstyle was about to grab the Aghanims, Na'Vi goes for a wonky timing as General's going to get the...
Oh,
that's
Crystal
the death
Maiden!
time I die.
Well, that showed her. We have to go back to base to refill his mana as well. 1900 gold saved up, with Eternal Envy heading into what looks like potentially a Manta style to get himself out of this silence of Earth Spirit. Or does he just look for the S and Y to tank up?
I think Manta's got some merits. He was one of the few carries that were still getting it as well at the Shanghai Major.
He's being closed in on though. Invoker and Enchantress. Dark Pact is there. He's got his ultimate to pop as well, but Ditchira ready. Try and block him up.
Dendi can catch him here.
Meatball deafening blast off the mark.
Oh, he even misses the blink down as Eternal Envy goes up. Nice escape by him. Being pursued up by 3 heroes. It is going to be the blink dagger for Wii. I could make
Misery. The kick is there. Seneko, they've caught him. The Beastmaster, not long for the world. He'll try and throw out the Wild Axe, and the Sunstrike will kill him. And Dendi claims himself yet another soul.
With the Sunstrike, Dendi's been all over the place, and he's got so much farm right now. I believe that's the completed Axe flying out to him. And
already?
Yeah, Navi's going to hit the sick timing where they're going to hit the double Axe, the Necro 3. You don't really wait for much more after that, I think.
Is it just going to be a ball up and run down mid lane, tier 1, tier 2?
Yeah, I would kind of like General to just go back and get mana right now. He's almost got the, he's almost got his Chronosphere up, and I don't think you waste this kind of timing on your team.
Well, that's Manta Star for Eternal Envy. Good defensive item for him. He's being scouted by wolves every step he makes. This is something the Na'Vi have been very good with, just keeping tabs on Eternal Envy's Slark, not allowing him complete free reign of the map. Definitely indicated by his build. He's going to try and maybe bait things out here with illusions. Nah, he's just shoving the wave. It's fine. But regardless, Na'Vi knew what was coming, and they will respond in force with 4 heroes. Looking towards the tier 1 down here, but that signaled their intent relatively early on. You see the Lycan pop his wolves. You've got a little bit of vision into the jungle. You know what's coming. Secret, defend, or split?
I think it's a little bit too late to go for a full-on split. If anything, they might just try to slow it down with a few heroes. Na'Vi, the main reason they're going for this is you notice that there's no pressure on them at top lane, and in mid lane, they still got the tower available, so the creep wave will just push out the other way. So it's important right now for Na'Vi, gather all their item timings, go for this. You don't want to just wait for the Faceless Void one. And Secret, they know it's a little bit too late to go for the split. Eternal Envy is going to be the one they send in. They don't have the glyph for it, but I think Na'Vi, this might just signal them to continue to go.
Well, Poppy devours out one. They do have a double blink here for Secret. Both Windranger and Beastmaster have been able to pick up those mobility items. Slark, Eternal Envy has TP available. And they're definitely posturing for defense of this tier 2. The question is, can Poppy get the wraparound in for a good Doom onto a good target?
He really wants Dendi or General if possible, but General's setting up. I think General's even okay with
Poppy
these 2 men.
roll across into the trees. No, he's stuck a little bit. The Shackle Shot will lapse into right hostile. They've got the Doom back onto the Enchantress, and they've actually caught them and trapped them in with Weehar, spamming out the damage from his Focus Fire. Oh no, Dendi tries his best. But Secret in full retreat will bail themselves back behind the tier 2 while Eternal Envy's joined the fight, actually looking in for a kill at the Arstar, but then untouchable with the Ice Wall as well. Not only your attacks are slowed, but your movement speed as well. Misery finally blinks aggressively forward and the Shackle Shot catches Soneko. Earth Spirit tries the kick,
Is under attack.
but Secret take no casualties.
Dendi, no other way around it, missed a lot more spells than he should have, and most importantly, General got caught off by Misery. Misery sends his Huck in, manages just to catch the tail end of that, throws down the Roar, immediately burns all the mana with the Necro 3. Great move by him. Completely wins on the team fight, because for half a second it looked like General was going to get the jump off on the two of the Secret heroes, but they were just a little bit faster. And honestly, Dendi needs it just because they don't have the best crowd control aside from that. They would need the Earth Spirit to hit a multiple hero kick, but it's so much reliable just to get the chrono off. And I think that was just a little bit too greedy by General, going for that positioning in the woods when you know that the Beastmaster Hawk's going to be there.
Now Misery. Boots of travel, do you reckon? For that Beastmaster?
Yeah, I think you just continue to get map control on the map and scout things out with your Hawk. You can go for the aerial assaults.
He's already ravaged top lane, you know, he took down multiple towers and forced a number of people back to try and defend, so he can do the same kind of thing towards the bottom lane. Draw attention away from the rest of his team by Eternal Envy time. He's already up to 3,200 gold and potentially looking for that Skadi. As Eternal Envy has been farming like an absolute boss this game. But on the flip side, you're also looking at General now, heading into Aghanim Scepter. No Vlads, just went for the lifesteal. And the damage output that they can throw into that chrono, it is basically just a matter of executing for Na'Vi, it feels.
Yeah, they need to be the ones to jump the fight. That's been the determining factor for them every single time. And that is what you can do with the Boots of Travel and the Hawk.
Hello, hello, hello. Talisman of Evasion. Gone and gone.
Yeah, that's a significant purchase for the Lycan, but with the Roshan spawning in 30 seconds, that might just be Secret's time to go for it again, really punish Na'Vi and slow down their timings even more. Because Na'Vi, when they had the double ags with the Necro 3 onto the Lycan, that was their go time. They wanted to really claim that tier 2 for themselves and get some pressure on the map, but unable to do so as Eternal Envy denies another tower, this time right in front of Na'Vi. Is seems like they're kind of lost right now. They kind of have to regroup up, start to take smart objectives again, look for some engagements with their Void, try to get the jump off. That's the important part.
Maybe start utilizing these smokes a little more. Arstar's been holding this one for quite some time. They've not made a run forward. They'll spot out Roshan's alive, steal out an Alpha Wolf as well, and that's pretty good timing for them, honestly. Na'Vi in a great spot here, just walk into the pit, while Secret hemmed back into their base a tiny amount. 4 of them around the ridge of their own fortifications, just trying to shove out these waves. So I think Roshan, yeah, straight up, simple, straight to Na'Vi.
That was really well done by Na'Vi. They understand that the objectives of going for the towers are a little bit risky, as Eternal Envy immediately splits himself and he's gonna head towards the top lane, but Na'Vi, they want to continue to be the aggressors in this game, as they feel like they still have a decent farm. And they're up 2k, XP is in a similar position. I think they have the right idea about it, especially with the Aegis. They would ideally like to wait for the Solar Crest, but Puppy, he would do as well.
Well, a lot of damage, a lot of spells, a lot of commitment onto Secret's captain. But in the meantime, you know, like you were saying, up at top lane, Misery is shoved into tier 3s already before Na'Vi even touches the base, before they even go down the ramp towards the Secrets. Oh, hello, General. Yeah, doesn't latch the shackle onto anything, but Eternal Envy sneaking through the Radiant jungle, and he might just be able to catch someone off guard. That's someone, Seneco. The timing of that was just spectacular, but we are even more spectacular. Flips forward with the shackle shot to cancel. And they catch the Earth Spirit.
Yeah, and they're just wasting time right now. Secret saying, you guys have the Aegis, but we're just going to go for these mini pickoffs, and it doesn't really matter, because what does it really cost them? They didn't have to expend the Roar there, they didn't have to use the Doom, and it just further slows down Navi's timings over and over again. And that's what you essentially want when you've got a team that features a Slark, a Doom, a lot of map control with the Beastmaster. Just continue to look for these mini engagements.
Well, the Ags you wanted from Wii, very, very close. 800 gold off it, 30 minutes in. Not the worst of timings. And art style, this Enchantress still looking and hunting for someone, but it's Ditchira that, how long does he have on it? Still a couple of minutes to go. Oh, the Aegis of the Immortal. Is it time to force something? I mean, Na'Vi have been trying and Secret, again, they're not giving anything to Na'Vi when they don't have to or they don't need to, but every time that Secret wants to fight, it's like, here, a little taster, a little teaser, and then they slam the door straight in their face.
They have to start playing, they have to start setting the pace instead of playing so reactionary, because what ends up happening is they go for this push and they project themselves. Then what ends up happening is Misery says, okay, that's 5 of you, I'm going to push in one of the side lanes, then Na'Vi is obviously going to react to that, then he just TPs to another side of the map, he uses the Hawk to scout constantly. Na'Vi just essentially have to play the guessing game, which they do. They were hoping that Misery would somehow be in the jungle still, but he's way gone, and this is really well done by Misery in this game.
And a way to do this is to sit Lycan on a lane and have him shove out maybe a little bit with Aegis, just having that safeguard, and have your other 4 go and, you know, like you would in the old days against the Tinker. Try and smoke up to the opposite lane. Try and bait him into that TP forward.
Yeah.
And catch him with a smoke in the creep wave, but they will reveal themselves up at top, Ditchira and Dendi, while the other 2 very, very far forward, but it's the Seneco Earth Spirit still sitting in middle lane. He's gonna get TP'd on Misery. Oh man, he's seen him, he's spotted him. With the Necros out, Seneco very, very small chance of escape, but with a kick in the roll, he might just be able to do it with the TP out as well. What a hero. What a hero.
Yeah, and I think this is going to prompt Na'Vi to just kind of go for it. Even with this bottom lane pushing in, it's just Pylite die. The mid tower's not really under any threat. And one misstep like that from Secret might just cost them a tier 2 tower for free, as Na'Vi finally doesn't have to full out trade, as Seneco is set up for mid. Eternal Envy has used the Manta already. He's going to go for the kick. Not able to get it.
And butterfly up for your Slark, Eternal Envy. He's pulling items out of his hat. Gem for Misery's Beastmaster, gonna try and de-ward as much as he can. Keep that vision game on their side for as long as they can at the very least. But there is an obs up here. I mean, between them, you know, between Slark for Eternal Envy and Misery with the Gem and the Hawk, they have got so many good ways of not only de-warding, but knowing where to de-ward. That's exactly what they're looking towards now. Just sweep through every possible area. Seneco trying to do a similar thing, but with sentries and observer wards, it's not quite the same. And that observer from Secret gives full vision of what Seneco's doing, where he's heading, and potentially even giving away that ward spot.
Yeah, and this looks like it's going to be a wasted Aegis. And this was Secret's game plan to begin with, just kind of run them ragged around the map. It's what they did against Na'Vi when they had the DP. Just continue to frustrate them. Eventually, Na'Vi will make a mistake, is what Secret is hoping for. And that's always been the playstyle of Secret, is they force people to get careless and make mistakes. It's not even like a straight up split push, it's just, we're going to outmaneuver you on the map and kind of choose where we want to pick our fights.
I'm going to allow you to take a little bit of farm initially, but over time will accrue more than you could ever imagine. They're actually doing it in numbers as well. 1 on lane, a couple in the jungle. Highlight Ice Crystal Maiden, Veil, Tranquil Boots. Has Veil become the new item? Is Veil in vogue now, Blitz?
I just think it's one of those items that gives you good stats overall, and for a hero like Earthspirit especially, it pumps up everything as They're gonna make this move on a
Shackle shot into focus fire, but in comes Seater with the veil down and the magnetize. They might be able to save him. Vincere barely. No, the lightning proc from the Maelstrom.
They really want to get at least Weehaw out of this one.
With the chrono, General might be able to. Sunstrike is there. The damage is good. And they've got the kill. 1 for 1, but it's not going to be that just yet. Eternal Envy found one. The roar on the Dendy. The damage output. The roll forward. The kick is not quite there from Seneko. And Secret will find 2. Looking for 3. Arsenal has no more sprites to save him. The kick away. Oh, the attempt to push Enchantress back into the base, back into the fountain where it's nice and safe and warm. It just wasn't successful. And here come the buybacks. 1. Maybe looking for 2 or 3, but you got to remember there's no chrono.
I think you have to do Dendy minimum.
Bring back Dendy and Art Style, but look at the Crimson Guard, the damage output. Sure, Impetus is doing a decent amount. Tornado is there with the meatball as well. Dendy definitely blasts until Envy pounces out. The change to deafening allows the slug to escape. Sunstrike, no!
Oh, he clips him.
Dendy! Somehow, a godlike Sunstrike raining pain from the heavens onto Eternal Envy. Stood still for a sec. Didn't
it almost
last
looked
long.
like he kind of juked back into it.
He juked himself.
Yeah. But still, really good play by Secret, and that's what I'm talking about. They almost always dictate where they're going to take you in fights. And we saw that just now as Na'Vi, they immediately lose their tier 3 tower at top. Then he's going to buy out. Finishes the Octarine core, but he's got to be careful because that Beastmaster gets on top of him. With the Necro 3, he dies so fast. The Slark now has the Butterfly. He's able to eat into the Enchantress too. Secret have all the advantages in the world that they needed to build up.
And what's the next item for Slark? I was kind of assuming the Skadi comes after the Manta.
Yeah, I think the Scotty's still a pretty good option. He just needs raw stats at this point, I think. Even the Abyssal Blade if he's worried about lockdown for his team. Which it doesn't seem like a huge issue. And Na'Vi, this is a pretty good move, is they're camping around this area, but I don't think Secret is going to be willing to leave their base without being multiple heroes. And they're actually on the left side of the map, and they might even run into Dendy, which would actually just spell the end of the game for Na'Vi, as he's got to be so careful about this one.
Got to keep his Forge Spirits out, and he's sent them out to top lane to try and shove the lane. And Roshan, 1 minute 45 seconds. And start to see the makings of the posturing around this pit. Secret keeping the lane shoved out as much as they can and get them past the river a little bit.
All 5 heroes from Na'Vi, for one reason or another, don't have their buyback available, so Secret, they're just going to play incredibly patiently. They know that all it takes is one decent smoke gank into the Invoker, and that ends almost all the chances at defending the high grounds. So Na'Vi's trying to get aggressive, and I like this move. I'm almost always a fan of teams playing to win, rather than trying not to lose.
Time is money.
They have to make something out of this, though. They've grouped themselves up, but Highlight die.
He's been spotted.
The split push action, you're right. General jumps himself away. Eternal Envy, he's alone for now with the chrono out. They'll get the Sunstrike. Where's the rest of the combo? Eternal Envy rolled in onto the Shackle Show's perfect. General Digirama caught. Eternal Envy definitely glasses there, but the dog pack keeps him flowing, keeps him fighting. Digirama is still alive. And then now chases down Puppey through his own jungle and brings him down. The rest of Secret, hot retreat, but we are. Oh, look at the damage! Impetus shots and Lycan swipes bring him down so bloody quickly, but Na'Vi gonna lose the racks. There's a glyph here. Misery and Eternal Envy both up on the high ground. Tornado EMP through from Dendy, and the ice wall catches him. No kick. The kick off the mark, but Misery will lose his life and his gem. Na'Vi defend. And they take out a number of Secret with them.
And they lose nothing in return. They did lose the Vord there, but all it took was the glyph to be able to save their racks, as Secret realized, okay, this fight is no longer going our way. Doom isn't able to get his Doom off. Let's just kind of try to go for the cut. But they just weren't able to do it fast enough, and Na'Vi, they really want this next Aegis on their Invoker if possible. They're immediately making their way down. Weeha's going to respawn in 18 seconds, but if they're fast enough, they could get this.
And look at how fast they want to go. Seneko rolling away. Dichira picks himself up, boot to travel. And into the pit. Into potentially. Oh, yep. Roshan's definitely alive, my friend. Or Aegis and Cheese is also available here. Dichira take the Aegis up, I guess, and give Cheese to Dendy. or the other way around. Cheese is pretty good on lighting with a shapeshift, and Dendy could use that Aegis the Immortal.
Yeah, I think you give Dendy the Aegis. Almost no questions here.
Oh, they're jumping on mid general. Oh god, he's been caught. The tornado though. Why is the combo?
They have to get
the
him.
meteor. Deafening blast is there, and actually Paradise Arms.
They can knock out Puppy before the Doom.
No Doom. Eternal Envy turns back on Ditchera. Catches him with the pounce as well, but Ditchera has the cheese available still. Soneko shackled through, but we are Windrun gets him out of dodge. He blinks himself to the northeast. And what happened to Envy?
He had the Shadow Dance available, but I don't think that he thought that Artstyle was going to do that much damage to him as he goes down for free. As Misery's being chased down by Dendy now, who manages to get the Cold Snap off on him. But Misery's immediately going to pop the Necro Books. Dendy's still on the hunt. And this is just Misery wasting time right now for Envy, who doesn't have the buyback. Naudi most likely don't know about this, but
Is under attack.
Good guess by Dendy into the juke spot, but Misery went to the west instead. So, EE, 45 seconds on the sidelines. And this time, Secret, they give away more than they take. Na'Vi, this is potentially a stepping stone for them to, get themselves up this pinnacle, get themselves a win in game number 2.
yeah, almost 4K lead at one point for Secret, and they had a lot of objectives on the map that they had taken care of, and it felt like it was just going to be a repeat of game number 1 where Secret kind of grinded down Na'Vi, but this time around Na'Vi said, we're going to actually exit our map, we'll get this Aegis. They immediately take that fight mid, which was so huge for them. Being able to knock off the Slark that quickly really made the difference there.
And now Monkey King Bar up against the Butterfly of Slark, Ditchera. He can punch out as much
Puppy's going to get caught again at top.
Once you're right, Ice Wall Meteor. Dendy is inside the chrono. Puppy is actually outlasting this with the Crimson Guard up. He will not be able to survive. Dendy makes damn sure of that, but Pylai died. No reveal, no gem. They lost that previously. They'll bring out Sentry for themselves, but not quite on time for the continuation. Eternal Envy. He knows that Invoker's around the cold feet, the icy shoes, making a mark on the floor. But also a big thing from that teamfight mid, Cheese wasn't even used by Ditchera.
Yeah, that was really surprising for me, and now he's got so much farm. He's got the MKB picked up for himself. He's got his own evasion to work with. Team Secret not looking as strong as they once were, as the gold lead swings back the other way. XP's following a similar direction, and Na'Vi...
Are they back?
In this game, yeah. They've definitely got a lot of different ways to win this one. Secret are actually the ones I think that are getting a little bit outplayed right now. The Doom just hasn't been able to cast Doom in the last 3 engagements. Na'Vi have made it a huge point just to be able to knock them off. They don't have a Lincoln's available on anybody, so they have to do it almost pitch perfect, and they've been pretty clean so far in the last 3 engagements.
What's the plan for Wii? Utility or damage?
I think maybe get a Hex, possibly need one at this point.
A Hex up Invoker or Lycan, or even the, I guess, Faceless Void is a pretty damn good target, huh?
Yeah, BKB at this point isn't a terrible idea either. He's gonna save gold no matter what he does, though.
Natus, Vincere. What are you guys up to? 5 of them grouped up on top of that ramp, while Misery, blocked in by wolves, forced the TP out. I'm sure he knew what was going on there. Puppy's told him all the stories about the wolf blocks.
Yeah,
we
and
are.
now you're seeing just like a culture shift in the game, where it's actually Secret that are just holed up in their base and Na'Vi playing aggressive all along the map. They're just splitting 3 different lanes at once. They're sending different minions everywhere. They're just making it really, really hard for Secret to kind of get out there. And they're also waiting for the Aegis to fade, but Na'Vi is making pretty good use of this time right now.
Artstyle with a Demon Edge. He's going for a Monkey King Bar of his own. Make sure he can just keep throwing these spears into the back of Slark and do that damage. And speaking of hexes, looking towards Weehaw potentially building one up, but it's Dendy. He'll get his hands on one of his own. And you look for the pick on Doom multiple times. You've thrown Chronos out, but if you can use the Hex and utilize that, a little more effective, lower cooldown, it's super useful for you.
The items are just flowing in right now from Na'Vi, as you've got 1600 gold onto the Seater Spirit, who also has the Aether Lens available. And Eternal Envy, his item build has kind of stagnated a little bit, as has the Dooms, and that's not something that we expected even 10 minutes ago. Most of Secret just haven't been able to build any new items, and indeed Wee is going to go for the BKB, which I think is the best possible option. Unfortunately for him, there's still a Void in the game. plus the Invoker still does quite a lot of damage, and if he doesn't get the BKB off or the win run, yeah, he's gonna actually have to get both off.
There's the reclamation of the Aegis the Immortal. I mean, we're looking at Beastmaster as well, you know, 16.5 minute Necro 3, the Blink, the BOTs by like 25. And sure, he's got 4,000 gold, and with that chainmail, looking towards potentially the Assault Cuirass.
Yeah, I don't think anything else is really worth it at this point. For him, he's got to start to scale a little bit later into the game. And there was a time period where I felt like Misery was going to be top 2 net worth. Especially with how quickly he was able to grab that, the Necro 3. And he established a lot of control early on, but he's fallen behind the rest of the cores. I guess that's an inevitability when you've got a Slark and a Wind Ranger in your game.
Especially when the Wind Ranger needs to start picking up the pace as well. I mean, BKB, like you said, is done with buyback still available. Let's take a quick look, actually. The 3 heroes without buyback. Doom, Maiden, and Faceless Void. So Secret, if they want to fight, they've got to make it count. Still Ditcheral with that cheese available. There's the AC completed, so Beastmaster buys out. He does not have buyback available either. I'm not sure. Secret, thinking about maybe just walking in.
I think they're going to go for the smoke, try to pick off somebody. They want to be the team to initiate the fights. The last few fights, it's almost always been Na'Vi finding these ideal engagements where they're able to knock off either Eternal Envy off the bat, or more importantly, Puppy, because I really feel like they need the Doom, especially if there's no Lincolns or anything available. And
oh, blink, blink. Puppy
silence now, though.
They've got Ditcheral on the side there with the Roar, the freezing field. Look at him go. The cheese is available, but he doesn't even use it. Ditcheral shredded by Secret, and the roll across. Doom on the General, so there's no chrono here. And Soneko's
gonna get hit,
but down he goes. General chased out by Eternal Envy, and this smoke has been perfect. Team Secret.
Yeah, they're gonna nail 3 heroes here almost immediately. Fortunately for them, they still have the buyback available on everybody but the Void, which might make them a little bit more hesitant, and they have to wait for the waves to push in. So Na'Vi can just hold as is.
Look at what Dendy's doing. He's actually double stacked this wave while all the fighting was happening. The Forge Spirits just dragging creeps across the map. The racks are still falling though, even through the backdoor regeneration. They've got the damage. They've got all they need. Glyph is available here for Na'Vi, but they're not expending it just yet. Maybe hold it for that middle lane. They're picking it out. Nope, they pop it now. With the Tornado only catching illusions, the EMP will be good. Onto Puppy's head. Burns through his mana and art style. Impetus shots galore. But just look at this Rags fall. Even without a creep wave here, Secret have secured themselves a full lane.
Yeah, they deal so much damage with that Butterfly. Slark, he had a decent amount of Essence shifts too. He stole 36 Agi. Plus, of course, you got the Beastmaster on top of that, the Focus Fire if you need it. Really well done by Secret to take that objective for free, and it didn't... The good news for Na'Vi is that it didn't cost them any buybacks, so they're not put into this awkward position where they immediately have to go for something after. But if you're Na'Vi, every single time you started the fight you've won. Every single time you've been initiated on, you've lost. So the game plan at this point has to be incredibly clear, which is why they've gone for the gem on the General, because they want to make sure if we don't have smokes, we want to make that you're not running under a ward or anything like that, or that Na'Vi's spotting you on the way over. They still have 1 smoke, but this one's really got to count for you.
Well, big man's back up. Puppy though, look at that positioning. Even though the Hawk is coming to take his place now, the changing of the guard, the Doom for the Hawk, and actually he still wants to stick around and maybe even wait for Na'Vi to come in and wander up onto the high ground. How long does that invis last? A fair amount of time still on it, and it's going to be perfect. The smoke pops, the Necro 3's down, but Puppy blinks away. The Necro is not in time, and General, he doesn't have Blink, doesn't have Time Walk. They've got the Crystal Maiden in their sights, and the Blink forward to the Chrono. Catching only Puppy, no BRs on the back. The BKB Wind Ranger still going to get ripped to shreds by the impetus damage of Art Style and taken out of the game.
Lycan, meanwhile, takes down Pylai Die, and without the Doom available, again, Secret, they're just not able to hold. And once again, it came down to who got the initiation off. The Slark, gem right in front of him, but can't really do anything about this. This is going to be a free Aegis cheese or Na'Vi. Then he might even decide to drop the hand of Midas.
Looks like it. Even with a smoke pop from Puppy, even with the retreat from Secret, Na'Vi, that Chrono from General, catching Weeha was just so perfectly placed that really there was no recourse for them. So now double cheese, one for the Lycan, one for the Enchantress, and Aegis of the Immortal for Dendy's Invoker. Misery returns to his game plan from 15-20 minutes ago. Get up the top.
This is truly a roller coaster of a game. There's at one point where Secret looked like they had a fairly good lead, and Na'Vi holds, repels them back, then the Secret win one fight outside their base, take racks, then Na'Vi just holds again. And now so much of this game comes up onto General. I believe this is the first line that he's played with them, right?
I believe so.
And this is going to be a big one for him, as a lot of this rides on him. Every single time he's able to get the Chrono off onto at least 2 heroes, including the Doom, they're able to win the fight. And they're going to need that consistently from him.
Puppy, he's having difficulties actually utilizing that Doom. 3,000 gold though saved up. Oh, hang on a second. Dendy, he's actually aiming and looking for Misery. He's caught him with the Ice Wall Tornado, and Misery cannot TP out. Forfeit his life for the greater good as Dendy. Yeah, those Necro units are annoying. Deafening blast them down. But he did allow Eternal Envy to escape at the very least.
Yeah, you just go for the free pickoff at that point. They've done a really good job so far of using the
Oh,
wolves.
blink forward, Chrono's there onto EE.
Is there any damage though?
Impetus damage from the low ground. No, they're looking for Weeha. The Hex is there from Dendy and Wind Ranger. Look to try and defend. Eternal Envy's been caught, but the Dark Pact will take it off. The Veil's still up on him, and he's
Oh, so Nako's
forced
gonna
to
keep
use
going for this.
His Shadow Dance, and yep, Dendy wants the kill. Ice Wall out, Deafening Blast is there. Eternal Envy BKBs, but he's gonna pounce himself back to safety a little bit further. Buyback from Weeha's Wind Ranger, maybe Na'Vi have looked to overextend, but they'll bail themselves out, force the buyback, force the BKB, and force Secret's hand to maybe defend that high ground.
Yeah, General in 20 seconds is gonna have that Chronosphere up again, and it was almost just like a bait. Like, we have Envy, and we's like, okay, I'm gonna come help out. Immediately ties in his place instead, is forced to use the buyback, and Envy can't do this alone. He needs his teammates alive, just as buffer pieces. But Na'Vi, they're gonna push up. They've got 2 cheeses, plus the Aegis to work with. They know that if they kill Weeha one time, that's a huge damage and lockdown resource down the drain for Secret. And all it really takes then is one team fight.
Necro units and Howl just keep spamming them up. Forge Spirits are here. Artstyle doesn't have any creeps to throw up there, but they've kept Secret hemmed up in their base, bunkered down. And then they just TP back towards side lanes. There's no massive objective gained apart from that Weeha buyback. You know, no tier 3s, a little bit of chip damage here and there. Tier 3 mid down to 260 health. They still need to consolidate these team fights, consolidate all of these little skirmishes and wins, and take the war.
So far in this game, Weeha does have the BKB, but doesn't even seem to be able to do too much. That Enchantress, Artstyle has really transitioned himself into a core, and that's the biggest difference right now, is that Na'Vi just have 3 heroes that hit really hard. They've got 1 lockdown, or 2 lockdown heroes. As Seneco's been doing such a good job on this Earth Spirit, being as annoying as possible, and more importantly, they never allow Puppy to get the Doom off, which is going to prompt him to go for the BKB. Instead of saving for the buyback, feels confident that they're going to have some time.
Dendy's going to have a refresher soon. Close to 8,000 gold. And he will have to replace out the Aegis with something pretty shortly. Of course, refresher's pretty damn good in Invoker, especially when you've got a Hex as well. And you're just looking at the graphs though, man. Look at the swings up and down, back and forth. It's now over 10,000 net worth and close to 13,000 experience lead here for Na'Vi after being dead even 10 minutes ago. Even less, 7 or 8 minutes ago.
Yeah, they've just found the pickoffs time and time again with the Chrono. And it looks like they're looking for it again as the tower is getting quite low. They're just slow sieging this one. They don't want to overextend. It's still easy for them to kind of just give this game back. As they're just playing hot potato with the lead right now.
The marauding hordes of summons and units out from Na'Vi. The Tornado will catch one up to the back. They think that's the real one. It's an illusion though from the Mantis style of Eternal Envy. But they'll just send the Necro units up onto the high ground with a glyph available for Secret. Defending this Rax is still going to be difficult, but the blink forward, they've got the duo to generals, there's going to be no chrono, the blink, where's the raw? Misery target up, Ninja Raw, they've got the Lycan, the Deafening Blast, the League of Two, the Deafening Blast with the Meteor, they've killed off EE and Misery. Puppy stuck in the ice wall for a little while, but both back away in the buyback with the Lycan, bringing it to the fight again, he's got a buyback, he has to try and buy for the chrono, General, he's got the Wind Ranger, and Eternal Envy, look at his HP, he has to shut it down to try and run himself away, but an ultra kill for our style. Highlight Eye tries his best, but a rampage for our style's Enchantress. He will finally drop to Misery, who battles it out 1v3. But Team Secret, they're on the ropes, Blitz. It's nearly coming to the end of game number 2. Buybacks out from Na'Vi as Void and Earthspread with the Enchantress as well. Look for the tier 4s, look for the game, look for the throne.
And that's a show of force if I've ever seen one. When everybody buys back, it's only Envy by himself. They've been tracking buybacks. Na'Vi senses the win, and after the first game, a lot of people predicted this to be 2-0, but Na'Vi battling back from the deficit. They're going to take this game off the back of an art-style Enchantress and a Dendi Invoker that just would not quit.
Oh, man. Oh, man. Na'Vi. Game number 2, taking it off Team Secret. And like you said, 25-30 minutes in, it looked like Secret were going to start playing that game they love so much, choking out the map, limiting farm from Na'Vi, and just trying to force errors, force the hand of Na'Vi